Hi and welcome to chapter 2. We're supposed to learn triads and chord progression. Now triads, as the name suggests, comprises of 3 notes. If you have a C, a third above it will obviously be E, and a fifth above the C will be G. So C with E and G, we have a triad. Now the note on which the triad is built is called the root. So if you are writing a triad for C, then C is the root. If you're writing a triad for G, then the root will be G. Now a triad is said to be in the root position when this root is in the lowest voice or part. Now if you're writing for SATB, we are talking about the bass, the lowest note. If the root is the bass, then this chord is in the root position, no matter the arrangement of the upper parts. But we are now talking about the triad. Let's make it simple. If you have C and a third and a fifth above it, you have a C triad. Basically, we have 4 kinds of triad, and that is major, minor, augmented, and diminished. Now these are the examples of the triads. This is a C major, where we have a C root, and then a major third and a perfect fifth above C. So we're using C as our measuring point, so we have a third above C and a fifth above C, which is major third and perfect fifth. Of course, from the third to the fifth is a minor third. Then we have C minor, where we have a minor third from C and then a perfect fifth from C. Of course, this is minor third, and then from the second, from E flat to G, is a major third. Then we have augmented triad, where we have C and then a major third to E, and then another major third from E to G sharp. So actually we have C and then a major third, and then from C the third note will be augmented fifth. So there are 2 major thirds on each other. And then we have a diminished triad, where we have C and then a minor third and then a diminished fifth, which is minor thirds on each other. Let's hear how they sound like. So this is C major triad in root position, C minor triad in root position, and then this is C augmented triad in root position, and then we have C diminished triad in root position. A triad can be built on any note of a scale. So the scale means C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Every note of the scale can have a triad above it, and we number the triads according to their position. So these are the triads in C major, and these are the triads for C minor. So there are some few things to note. The triads in the minor key are formed from the notes of the harmonic minor scale. The use of melodic form will be considered later. The leading note of the minor key is always raised a semitone by an accidental. So when you're talking about C minor, then the leading note will be B, because B is just before C. It's the 7th note, the leading note, and so it's raised by a semitone in a harmonic minor scale. The Roman numerals indicate the degree of the scale which is the root of the triad. Thus chord 4 refers to the triad on the subdominant, chord 6 to that of the submediant, and so on. So the degrees of the scale are tonic, supertonic, mediant, subdominant, dominant, submediant, and the leading note. Based on each of them, there can be formed a triad above it, that is the third and the fifth above it. and the Roman numerals are just labeling them. This is the first one, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh in their order. A triad is known also as a 5-3 chord, since it consists of a fifth and a third above the bass. Now this is the root, so we have a 5 and a 3 above the root. That's why it's called a 5-3 chord. Let us go ahead and listen to the sound of these triads. The fourth point, chords 1, 4, and 5, either major or minor key, are called primary triads. So C major, C, E, G, chord 4, F, A, C, and chord 5, G, B, D. All these three chords, 1, 4, and 5, are major triads. In the minor key, chord 1 and 4 will be minor. That is, 1 is C, E flat, and G. You may wonder why I'm saying E flat if you're not careful, but we have a key signature here, and E is flattened. So there's C, E flat, and G. And chord 4 is F, A flat, and C, because there's a flat here. And then chord 5 has a raised 7th, as we said earlier. So this is G, B, it's raised, so it's not B flat, it's B, and D. G, B, D is a major triad. And so you'll realize that the first and fourth chord are minor, but fifth remaining as major. Chord 2 and 3 and 6 in the major key are minor, and these are what we call secondary triads. So chord 2, chord 3, and chord 6, all of them are minor chords, minor triads. This is D, F, A, that's a minor triad, minor third, perfect fifth. Chord 3 we have E, G, B, which is a minor, E minor, D minor, E minor, and we have A minor, A, C, E. Chord 2, 3, and 6 are what we call secondary triads. So 1, 4, 5 are primary triads. Chord 2, 3, 6 are secondary triads. And for minor keys, the only secondary triad is chord 6, which is actually a major chord. Let's look at it. Chord 6, it's A flat, C, and E flat. That's a major triad. A flat, E, A flat, C, E flat. If you look at it on the piano, that's actually a major triad, a major third and a perfect fifth above it, above the A flat. So chord 6 is the only secondary triad in a minor key, and it's a major chord. 3 is an augmented, and 2 and 6 are diminished, and these are what we call discords. I will discuss about discords later. For the moment, we confine ourselves to the use of primary and secondary triads, with the exception of 3 in the major key, which is dealt with later. That is, in the major key, we will use 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. That is 1, 4, 5 for major of the primary triads, and then 2 and 6 will be used as secondary triads, keeping 3 for later. In the minor key, we have 1, 4, 5, where 1 is minor, 4 is minor, and 5 is major, and chord 6 as the secondary triad, which is a major chord. So no other chords should be used until they have been specifically dealt with. Okay, point number 5. The work will be written for 4 voices or parts, that is soprano, alto, tenor, and bass. When we will be harmonizing in this book, we'll be using 4 voices, and this is the range of each voice. Soprano is from the bottom C to the C below the G clef to the G above the G clef. Alto will be from G, that's the G, 2 ledger lines below the G clef, and the C inside the G clef. For the tenor, we have C at the F clef, inside the F clef, and it will go to G inside the G clef. Then the bass will start from F, the bottom F below the F clef, to the high C. You may find some songs extending this, but this is the standard, and you should learn to write in this range so that your songs will be easier for choirs to sing. So when writing in short score, that is 2 staves, soprano and alto are placed on the upper stave, that is the G clef, and the tenor and bass are on the lower. Stems of the notes in soprano and tenor are written upwards. You can see that soprano is going upward, tenor is going upward, and the alto and bass are going downward. This is the best way to write your harmony, especially when you're learning. In arranging a triad for 4 voices, one note has to appear in 2 parts. That is, it's doubled. It makes sense since a triad has 3 notes and you require 4 voices. It means that one of them has to be doubled. The best note to double is the root. The next bass is the 5th. In a minor third, the third may be doubled, but in a major triad, this is undesirable. So when you're doing a minor triad, you can double the third, but not in a major triad. Don't double the third in a major triad, at least for now, except in certain special circumstances mentioned below. The leading note may never be doubled. Don't double the T, the leading note. It brings out a very ugly sound. For the moment, it should be taken that the root only is to be doubled. Now, example 5 shows what is meant by doubling the root. Both the bass and soprano have C, which is the root of the chord. So we have C here and we have a C here. That is what we mean by doubling. Spacing of parts is of great importance, and next door parts of the next voices above or below should not be more than an octave apart. Exception is tenor and bass. Now look at the following and note that the root is doubled in every case. So we have a C chord, C chord, C chord, C chord, C chord, C chord, C chord. We have a G chord and another G chord. And all of these have the root doubled. Let's have a look at them and hear how they sound. So it will be seen that broadly speaking the parts are either roughly equidistant, that is in A, this we may call it equidistant, where we have all the notes close together, or soprano, alto and tenor are close together, leaving a larger gap between tenor and bass. That is like these examples here. B, these on here, and these on here. The soprano, alto, tenor are close together, but the bass is far below. And we also have the further apart the soprano and bass are placed, the more generally widespread the spacing becomes. So if you look at the C examples, the parts are equally spaced and spread through, not clustering some 2 notes here and some 2 notes below there. They are very well distributed when the soprano and bass are far apart. So the spacing at D is noteworthy since it has the largest gap, a 1/6 between alto and tenor, while tenor and bass are only a third apart. So in this example D here, it's only 1. We have tenor and bass close, while tenor and alto are a 1/6 apart. This is brings a good sound, especially when the bass is on the high parts of the F clef. So it's good when the fifth of the chord is in the soprano, so its effect is good when the fifth is on the soprano. So this is chord G, and we have the fifth of G being D, and you can see the soprano has a D. And these two notes being close together, the G and B are third apart, and the bigger distance between tenor and alto is only good if the chord does not lie too low. If it's too low, the effect is muddy. So the parts should not cross. That is, soprano should always have the highest note, followed by alto, tenor, and then bass at the lowest.